baffling sometimes, and it paints all of us black. I mean, George Quay, you're a fine presenter. The big-headed guy in your studio, I know.
Nathaniel Otto.
Who else?
Yes,
who
the
else?
big-headed guy.
Yeah, big head. He's such a fun guy. He's actually my favorite sports guy in the multimedia group, and I love watching Nat Atto. And you watch Nat, and Nat is talking about an ill in the sporting fraternity, and he goes about it professionally. Go to another station that is disseminating in Chi, and you will be disgusted. Same issue they're talking about, and it's full of insults. Why? Who do we think we are? It's really a problem, and I think it comes down, number one, to the media owners, whoever is employing, because now they go about, they find somebody who speaks well, speaks Chi very well, speaks Ga very well, or speaks English very well, and say, oh, you are ripe enough. Come on TV, come on radio and speak. We are not training them. They're just there. Again, they will not give them proper training, because if you go and bring an experienced person, it means paying more. They'd rather give you 500 CDs a month, and you will say all sorts of things on radio for traction, for ratings. I mean, what's the point in being rated high when everything you're putting out there is overly poisonous? And so, yes, we need to do more. We need to be more professional. Those of you who are on radio constantly, on TV constantly. I am not on TV a lot these days, but we should do more. We should talk about them more, and I'm happy
we should do
Chairman
more.
General talked about it. We have to do more.
We definitely have to do more. Nanaba, hold that thought right. Uncle Kennedy has one question for you. Uncle Ken, please go ahead.
I honestly don't have a question.
Okay.
I want to say to Nanaba, thank you for being so forthright.
Oh, okay. All right. Well noted.
I think you have been up.
Okay. Thank you very much, and thank you very much, Mado. We're gonna come back to you when we need you, so don't disappear. Don't sleep and don't go watch TV. We'll come back to you when we need you again, because we're here till 6 p.m. Thank you so very much, ladies.
Certainly.
All right, and that was Doreen Ando, Ace broadcast journalist, right here with us at the Multimedia Group, host of the Cosmopolitan Mix on Joy 99.7, and general manager for the GH1 TV, Nana Abba Anamwa, my Manchester United sister. And yes, I really do admire her too. She's very talented. Now, bringing it back into the studio, and we also have on the lines from Lagos, Nigeria, international MC trainer and MC herself, that is Joyce Daniels, and we have on the line my brother Kwesi. Kwesi is also an MC right here in Ghana. In the studios, I've got Nathaniel Atto, Kofi Ajololo, and the man Kabute, my MC, Jerry Kofi Ajololo. What is your day name, Jerry? Kofi.
Koku.
Oh, it's Kweki.
Wednesday.
It's Wednesday. Oh, it's not Friday. Oh, how unfortunate.
He does the bad news. I do the damage.
He does the bad news. You do the damage. Are you related, by the way?
My dad's cousin.
Oh, really? So what does he make? What is he to you then?
Ah, well, an uncle. But honestly, being here as an MC, it forced me to pay glowing tribute to a few distinguished gentlemen who are here.
Yeah.
It was through Kabute that I started my wedding MCs, commercial wedding MCs. He gave me my first gig.
Your first gig?
Yeah, on the 15th of February, 2013.
Oh, wow.
2 weeks to my wedding.
Wow.
Seriously.
15th of February, 2013.
Yes,
that's interesting.
Yeah.
That is interesting.
And in that same...
You know what's interesting about that? I think that is just about a week after my wedding.
Interesting.
Oh, no, Adelaide. That was 8th February. Yeah. Also,
in that same year, Kafui Day gave me my first corporate gig on the 5th of December 2013. The year after I met Nat also gave me my first gala dinner.
That's right.
On the 19th of December 2014.
That's right.
And Kennedy has been a constant inspiration with his charcoal grilled voice. He's the epitome of excellence in broadcasting.
Yeah.
And again, I'm honored to be in your
Thank you. Jerry's father is my mate. He's my friend.
Okay.
You know.
Okay.
And he's just like his father.
Yeah.
So suave.
Yeah.
And smooth.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and Jerry is one of those who left the corporate world to come join us in this madness. Well done. I don't know how you managed to make that decision and how your wife and girlfriends agreed with you, but
it just had to happen.
It just had to happen. Yeah. Well done. Well done. Captain MC, the food has still not arrived.
No worries, my brother. Your hunger can stay a bit longer than you know.
But If you just tuned in, you're logged on to Joy 99.7 FM. That's why you hear a lot of English. Don't be surprised. It is Joy. And we're looking at the impact of COVID-19 on the creative arts fraternity, focus on the state of the MC business. The state of MC business. Kabuji, how many shows do you do last year?
Well, on the average, I do almost 100.
Jerry is listening.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, so I mean, the record show. So
yeah.
On the average, I do probably around 100 events a year.
Wow.
So.
And you charge averagely how much per event?
Oh, my salary per event.
Your salary per event, so which is about 7,000, 8,000 per event.
I charge my salary per event.
Okay, yeah. All right, okay. And that's net, not gross.
My salary per event.
All right, interesting. Okay, go ahead.
So yes, this year, I have to be honest, I probably have lost about 75%.
Wow.
From the beginning of the year, I mean, December was obviously very, very heavy for me.
Yeah.
All the way into the end of January. And then the year really starts off again with February. Then, just when, we're getting into the peak of it, then the COVID situation arose.
Yeah.
Immediately it arose, I immediately had 16 cancellations.
Wow.
Yes. Yeah, immediately, straight up, like within a space of a week, there were like 16 cancellations, and some of which had already made, commitments and things. And then, of course, for those who were not willing to reschedule or were unsure about if they could reschedule, I had to do refunds and things like that. Even though I have policies in place, because there's a very strong relationship element to our business, you need to be able to compromise on some of these things. So for me, it was a pretty significant hit, I have to be honest. Yes.
There's something I heard Kwesi mention, which you have also mentioned, which is refund. Joyce, are you there? Your microphone again. If you can just unmute it for us. Great. Joyce, as an MC trainer, would you advise that MCs have a non-refundable clause in their contracts?
I do advise that, but just like Kabute, my MC, said, sometimes you relax based on relationships. This period, though, I did not refund anybody because I made it very clear we are all hit. It's not your fault. It's not my fault. The money's in my account. I'm not refunding. Thank you. Goodbye and God bless you.
Didn't you lose? Don't you think you've lost clients?
No, I've not. You know why?
Tell me.
They can't find anybody better.
Okay. I like that.
Well, I didn't say it in a rude way or a harsh way or a shut the door, break the door down way. No, it's a case of, I know we were going to get back. When we do get back for your next event, I know one of your children will get married in the next 2 years. Then we'll talk about it then. But for now, this one that's in here, we're all going to hold on to it. There were laughs, there were smiles, but I was firm on it because I had to.
Interesting.
I went about it in a way that my clients understood. Many of these clients, well, the only two who asked for refunds anyway. I've worked with them for 4, 5, one of them for 5 years. The other one, this was going to be my 6th year. So we built a relationship, and I was like, Olga, madam, you don't understand, no be so. And we laughed, and we all walked away smiling.
Interesting. Okay.
Maybe if I was squeezed into some sort of corner, maybe I would have, and I would say to every MC, no two situations are the same, so be very aware of what's happening in your situation, what you stand to lose or gain. In this case, I knew I wasn't going to lose my relationship. If my relationships were at stake, perhaps I would have. You would have
reconsidered. We're live on Facebook and on YouTube as well. Follow our Joy 99.7 FM. And let me bring the man Nathaniel Ato into the conversation before I go to Jerry. Adama, how many gigs have you also lost this year?
The number. I would like to focus on one. So, this year was our 90th anniversary.
It is, yeah.
Now, in March, the week before President Akufo-Addo locked the nation down partially, I was billed to host our 90th anniversary speech day, which was the highest height of the crescendo of the whole celebration. We're expecting the president. So like a week and a half before that, I get a call. There's a client for a funeral. So, a Friday and Sunday funeral. Yeah. So what we call in local parlance the Bunyo Party.
Bunyo Party, exactly.
So funeral was going to be held at the Gethsemane Cemetery, and then after that the event at the Grand Arena, which was for Friday, and then on Sunday at Cleaver House we had about 1,000 guests. The client, so I met with the client, very nice lady. Unfortunately, I can't mention her because so she's a big player in the oil and gas industry. She had lost her mother. She has loads of her siblings outside of town who are coming down for it. This is a family who wanted to celebrate their mother for what she had done for them. So they wanted to be pretty elaborate, not necessarily wanting to show off or anything, but to celebrate their mother's legacy. And so we planned. We sat together. I gave them directives as to what we should do regarding our running order for Friday and for
Sunday.
This meant that I was going to travel into Cape Coast on Saturday morning or late Friday and come back immediately after the speech. Because that is what I had planned. Sunday comes. And I attend church with the president. We were both Anglicans, and I do poetry as well. So, my preambles and my introductions, I like to add a few. So when I was wrapping up, I remember very well that I said, I'm praying that, this whole COVID thing goes away so that the president can grace, because there are loads of persons who trace their educational roots to St. Augustine's College. His ADC, Mr. Wana, is also an Ogasco boy. So we all laughed about this. And then that evening, just that evening, a couple of days to these two events, the president says everything is shut, no public events. For the very first time in my career as an MC, I had to do a full refund of what was very good money.
Wow.
This, and I'm talking net.
Wow.
After tax and everything. Very good money. Once again, just like we've all said, there are different situations. There are people who come in and we sit down, we put pen to paper, and we script contracts depending on the genre of event, the nature and the circumstances.
Yeah.
In this case, I had to do a full refund. And of course, everybody who has come across me knows my brand. I've grown my brand controversy-free and on principle and on integrity. And in this case, difficult as it was, I had to let it go, and I had to do what I would have done on any regular day. So I did the refund, and what happened was that the burial has happened. It will still the event will still happen, and I was assured that the event will happen, and we will eventually execute it. But the big lesson here that I learned in all of this, and in this whole lockdown period and the cancellation of public events, which has affected all of us, is that George, Kabute, Jerry, Uncle Ken, anything can happen. Anything can happen. If I look at how close we were to executing this event, the potential for growing your base even bigger. Because
the middle of January, I could hear things about Corona, worldwide and stuff. So a few triggers, people were calling me, telling me, the date is tentative. It's subject to so many things. By the end of January, I knew that the thing was hitting home. Because by February, the first week of February, I could hear people calling and telling me that, look, this thing, it will not happen. But most of my events come through agencies. So although I send my invoice to them, there is a certain threshold within time they pay and all that. So I didn't have the problem of refund and stuff like that because most of them really didn't commit. But because of the agreements that we have with the agencies, we knew that surely when the time is approaching, they'll make the deposit. This year marks 5 years of going full time, 6 years of doing this. And August is my anniversary. I planned to take the whole of August off and go around the world just chilling, have a good time, and then 5 years, no holiday, no break.
Yeah.
If President Akufo-Addo hears this, he'll give me a letter. But for me, being on the road 5 years, no break. This has given me time to reflect, to refocus, and to put things in perspective. I heard you ask about, was the stimulus package.
Yeah.
For me, the question is, what is our contribution to the economy? I had a gig in the US somewhere around 2015. I had to turn it down.
Why?
I started out as just raw talent. So I make my money, it goes into my pocket, hey, I'm good. Then I saw that no, I need to scale up, because there will come a time. Yes, you go to the embassy. What do you do? We know you.
Yeah.
What do you do? Do you have a business?
Where's your
tax? This and that.
bank
So I incorporated a
statement?
company. And ever since, I've been, fulfilling my obligations, paying tax, and all those kind of things. Now, as I speak to you right now, I have 2 months outstanding to pay for GRA and for SNIT. Why didn't I write to tell them that, because of COVID, who could have seen the end from the beginning? Nobody.
Like Matt said, anything could happen.
My last gig was on the 14th, the day before he announced. We were expecting some high flyers to come through the party. It was a 60th birthday. And we had about 40% of attendance. And news was out that, look, the next day, Old Man was going to, crack the whip. And so, for me, I knew that for some time to come, there would be no activity. So at least, some savings to follow on and things like that. But for me, I think this brings to the fore a very important conversation that we need to have. We need to have an industry. Like it or not, there is none. People are always telling me that entertainment, we are at the short end of the stick. We don't get anything. What do you bring to the table? That's what I ask. If there's anybody who has access to power, more than any other industry, I believe it's us. Look, I can go to an event and go and kneel before the president and whisper something to his ear. As an MC.
Yeah.
A managing director even doesn't have that.
No, he doesn't.
You as an event planner, you have direct access to all these people. So why is it that when it comes to policy, remuneration, all these things, we are at the end of the story? It's because we've not been able to tell our story. I believe it's about time we come together, form a chamber, representing the various associations. We have marketing communication companies, we have event planners, we have individual talents. Let's come together as one body. I can tell you how much I've paid in taxes for the past 4 years. Can we together as an industry make a case to government and tell them that this is our contribution, this is how much we are willing to make if you also commit to do X, Y, and Z. So I believe this time really gives us an opportunity to present our case and to dialogue with policymakers, governments, and all that.
Interesting. Do you guys have like an? Hey, when I say you guys, I say okay. Do you guys have like an MCs association or coalition or something?
You remember when GRA invited all of us over to the Coconut Grove Hotel? So we all pay tax. Okay, we are all paying tax based on the regular calculations and everything. However, like Jerry mentioned, we do not have a recognized front, because of which when government says, for instance, today that, okay, so I'm banning the operations of MCs from who goes to speak? Is it Nathaniel Ato? Is it Kabute? Is it Jerry? Is it Kwame Sefakai? What do we do? You understand me? And the correct thing to do, or the right thing to do, is to have industry representation.
Yeah.
The lawyers have
they do.
The association. Medical doctors do.
They do. And I hear event planners have just
bankers do.
Put together one as well.
So this is the time. I remember very well that on the floor, I mean, we had many people have conversations about it. There's an association called the Ghana Events Industry Association.
Yeah.
They normally come together to put together awards and stuff, an awards event. But I think that for a body like that, what will be important is that we incorporate the functions or the varied functions within the events industry.
Yeah.
And then we have a recognizable front, which is registered with the Registrar General's Department, so that then we know, and then from there we can start pushing and making impact on policy regarding the way this industry should be regulated, so that then it gets to a point in this country where a multinational comes in, they want to do business with events professionals, and they have to consult the association.
Exactly.
That is the right thing to do.
Exactly.
I mean, when you come to sports, for instance, in football, in the past years, I mean, you've had the likes of Tony Bafo and other ex-international. Tony Bafo is now the Confederation of African Football's Deputy General Secretary in charge of football development. Now, the PFAG, the Professional Footballers Association of Ghana, has been so impactful when it comes to player welfare and issues of. I mean, they are such a strong force and they're making so much impact regarding the way footballers should live their lives, plan, and all of that. So I think that it's a call in the right direction, and this is the time. Everybody, I mean, we all come together, get a few legal brains together, they draft a constitution, and then we can move forward from there. I think it will help all of us.
This message here, before I come to you, Kabute, very quickly, it says, "Hi HQ, great lineup. I just have a question. Do you know where the former Vibe FM presenter OD4 is at? This guy needs to be interviewed. Anyway, great job. Kwesi Brew Ufuri in Chicago. If GQ no take time, Mr. Atto will take over the show with lots of casa." This is just by the way. He's great at what he does. Yes. All right.
Yes. So if I may just
the food has still not arrived.
Don't worry, my brother. Don't worry. Hunger does not kill that quickly. So let me just make this contribution, especially in respect of the associations. I'm not speaking formally on behalf of the associations.
Okay.
I'm not a spokesperson for them, but I just want to share what I know. There are 2 registered events related associations.
Interesting.
Yes, there's the Event Vendors Association of Ghana, which is registered with the Constitution. I know that they are formalized, they have members, they have their executives, their presidents and all. And then there's also the Event Professionals Association of Ghana, which is also registered and also going through their engagements. I am actually informed that the last engagement that the president had with different groups in terms of preparing towards the announcement of the stimulus package.
Yeah.
I know, for example, that the Event Vendors Association of Ghana was represented there.
Interesting.
Yes, their president Kate Hansen.
Well, next week we are going to be speaking to the event people.
Fantastic.
We want to understand, because there are things going on that I personally do not understand. I mean, but when we get there,
yes. So at least that's a fact that there are 2 events related associations there. Now, the input that I want to make, first of all, is to ask, we as MCs, are we have we offered to become members of any of these 2 registered associations? They are associations within the event space. It's up to everybody, do you understand? I sincerely believe, personally, that to take a very specific subsector of the entire event scope and to try and create a policy advocacy platform would be an uphill challenge. What I think would achieve much broader scope and give us more attention is if we can situate ourselves within the event industry. It gives us a broader base, it gives us a greater level of impact, it gives us a greater level of influence, because then you know that, because it's also a numbers game, you know. If you have the number of people who have been affected by your business positively if it's going well, and negatively if it's going bad, is what will make, you know, anybody in power want to pay attention to you, to say do this or that, you know. And there are different aspects of the business. For example, how COVID has affected somebody in the rental space. It's completely rentals or event venue space. It's completely different from how it may have affected somebody who does live streaming for events. You understand me? So if you look at it from those components, then I think that for us as events, as MCs, I have to be honest with you, I am not yet convinced that, you know, that anything like a stimulus package is critical for our business. First of all, like Joey said, if you're formalized, there are options available for you. For example, you could decide to write to the GRA and say that, you know, for the last few months I've not been able to generate revenue, and so I'm asking for an exemption for this and that. That is something that could give you a breathing space.
Definitely.
Again, if you're formalized as well, I mean, speak to your accountant, speak to whoever it is that advises you on your books. I mean, it will affect, of course, your bottom line, because let's be honest, COVID has affected every single aspect of life. You know, it's not just for us as events.
Well, positively and negatively, because some people are, you know,
absolutely.
For instance, PPE manufacturers are in good business.
Absolutely.
Sanitizer manufacturers are in good business. Some FMCGs are in good business. Telcos are flying high.
But you see, the name,
some are in good business.
Yes, but also more critically, if it affects you at the core of your business, like telcos, that's what they do already. And then it creates more demand for your services. Well and good. Thank God for you. But the main name of the game has been innovation, adaptation, and then refocusing and repurposing yourself to still become relevant even with the advent of COVID. So companies like Casapreco were not known for, sanitizers and things like that, but the need arose, they repurposed themselves in that respect. Okay, so
let me go to Kwesi, who's with us on Zoom. I mean, Kwesi, so, and Joyce, I believe you're there too? Beautiful.
Yeah,
you're there. Great. So, Kwesi, let me ask you this first, and I'll put the same question to Joyce. So, Joyce, you can be thinking about it. Let us assume that we're going to be here till the end of the year. How are you going to survive, Kwesi, as an MC? COVID-19 is not leaving us anytime soon. There's still no vaccine.
All right, as much as I am an MC, I also do radio, and then also I organize events. And I think the online thing that is ongoing is something also that I've gotten myself into. So the point is, I'm also trying to find ways in which I can keep myself busy and relevant. So it's not just that I'm just sitting down and then waiting on COVID to pass. I'm sure that COVID might not pass now, or maybe it might stay for a longer period. I don't know. I can't tell. So what I've said to myself is to reinvent myself in many ways in terms of the speaking business, so that I can also be relevant in diverse ways to companies and in associations that I work, with, or I get to work with. So it's not just about, just keeping yourself there and then just hoping that the COVID pass away. It's about trying to reinvent yourself to be relevant, do things or try things that can also work, so that you can also help to advance the industry that we find ourselves in.
Interesting. Joyce, I hear reinvent, I hear do something else. It sounds a lot easier than to actually do. I mean, if really this is you. Someone like Jerry here walked away from the corporate world. He's a fine banker. He walked away from the corporate world to do MC business. This is what he does. And we're sitting here and saying, do something else, do something else. What else should the man do? And there are many Jerrys out there. This is my passion. This is my love. This is all I know how to do. And COVID is not leaving till December. You are an MC trainer. What would be your advice?
December? Who says it's not leaving till December? I'm thinking like June next year or even beyond.
That makes it even worse.
If I sit with him for 30 minutes, we will discover together what other things he can do, because that's part of my skill set, to help people dig deeper into who they are and what other passions can be explored. This session of 30 minutes, I charge $250 already, and I have clients lined up every week. I help people discover other things they can do. And
do you need an assistant?
What'd you say?
Do you need an assistant?
I need to have a comment, George. So some people are desperate right now to know what else they can do, and they have some money stored up somewhere. So they're willing to pay. But I'm also not trying to sound like I'm exploiting. No, I was offering this service even before COVID, just that COVID has made people now want to accept it. So I can sit with someone and find out what else can be done. You'll be shocked what else. For example, I'll give you a typical example. There's a guy I know who exercises just like me. He exercises a lot. He's never done it for money. He has never done it professionally, but we discovered together that he can. And with his proper kit, his protective gear, he could be a personal trainer this season. He has taken it off. People are paying about what, $110 per month.
Okay.
$85 per month. If he gets 3, that's almost $300, which is better than nothing. So I would just help, so I make people think much deeper. There's so many, and when I say there's so many, I mean it with all my heart. And don't forget, we don't only work for people in our local environment. Some people right now are looking for social media managers because there's so much happening on social media and they cannot cope anymore. So they're looking for people who they'll pay $30 per month, $40. It's better than nothing. I would now say, take it on and scale up. Some of us are great writers. Some of us are great content providers. It's just to put it out there and collect your clients by force.
Is there an MCs coalition or any sort of organized body that keeps MCs together or, gets them that kind of recognition, as my colleagues have spoken about? Do you have any body like that in Nigeria?
Not that I know of. We don't have an organized structure yet, but we have I would say it's a functional, unorganized. What's the word now? There's a word I'm looking for. It's not yet formalized, but we have some sort of unconventional structure, somewhat. So the question is, anyway, right now, how is that going to help, really? Even if we want to reach out to the government, we know the government doesn't have money for us. Government is borrowing money to make sure we have power. The truth is, let's be true. Nigerian government, for example, doesn't have money. Nigerian government is broke. The Nigerian government is in debt. So I would rather say to my MCs, look, don't go to a blind person when you're blind. Let's create the light together. So let's create the light together. For example, tomorrow I'm hosting 9 other MCs, including Kwesi and Kafui, in a global event. We have people from the UK, Japan, and so on, who are speaking about how we can all go forward together. And I'm going to make an announcement tomorrow. I'm willing to hold the hands of people. I'm making my courses free. I have courses online that people usually would pay dollars for, but I'm making them free to MCs. Get the information. We're going to teach some of them how to host online events. I host at least 3 online events every single week. Wow. Interesting. Well, we call them moderating now. We don't call them MC. You don't call them MC. Interesting. A dollar or two. So we're going to teach some of them how to do these things. One of us is offering her grammar classes for next to nothing, because for some MCs in Nigeria, I don't know if you have the same problem there, where we don't have a common language in Nigeria besides English. For some, it's the grammar that's the problem. International organizations are not going to let them moderate their shows online. No. So we're saying to them, guys and girls, go over there and brush up your grammar. If there is a problem, fix the problem. Exactly. The one that's with you first. So we're looking into all those kind of solutions that we can help. Pretty interesting. Let me come back to Kwesi. Kwesi, our colleagues here have spoken about getting us, associated with, for instance, the Event Planners Association of Ghana. I think there's a body like that, Event Planners Association of Ghana, EPAG or MPAG also, getting, or should, I also think, why can't MCs be on their own? MCs Coalition of Ghana or something like that. Why can't we come together and then safeguard the business and then, compartmentalize it, and so we have Ghana MCs, Chi MCs, so that you break it into the various languages, because like Joyce just said, language could be a barrier. You could be somebody who's pretty good when you're doing a local language MC gig, but once you cross to English, then you could have problems. So why can't you have an MCs coalition that is solid on our own, not under an event planners or anything? What's your take?
Well, I agree to that. Jerry, Kabute, Nathaniel, Kafuide, these are my seniors in the game. So once they've said it, all I have to do is to follow them. They would have to set the pace so that we follow. They are my seniors, and they actually know the nitty-gritties that makes up this business pretty well than I do. I learned a lot from all these guys, and as much as they've actually, brought this thing out, I believe strongly that if we come together and initiate that kind of agenda, it would help all of us so that we can also have a voice that we can speak, so that when we speak, people can hear us. Because I think at the moment, I know that we have many subsets emceeing groups. And as much as we do have these groups, I don't think we are really together. And as seniors, I would like to push them so that they can actually, initiate this thing, so that we can also be part of it and then join together and form that formidable team that can take us to the place that we want to go.
All right. Joyce and Kwesi, I'd say thank you very much. And Joyce, look forward to, you should invite us to one of these, your webinars and stuff that you hold. I'd love to be a part of them.
Definitely will, George. I definitely will. You and all the gentlemen in the studio right now, of course. Kwesi, anywhere I go, Kwesi is. Anywhere Kwesi is, I am.
That's a good one. Charlie, thank you very much. You take care and be good. We'll connect again very soon. Kwesi, thank you very much. And of course, those were Joyce Daniels is an international MC and trainer of MCs in Nigeria, and of course we know our brother Kwesi, who's a radio host and master of ceremonies right here in Ghana. We're speaking COVID-19 and the impact of it on the creative arts fraternity, with a sharp focus on the MC business. In the studios, I've got Nathaniel Ato, I've got Jerry Ajololo, and of course Kabute, my MC. This one says Let me see. It says, I for one don't think MCs need a stimulus package. Why? One, they don't engage workers as prescribed. Two, that is not entrepreneurial. Oh really, you believe so? If they are demanding, then every worker needs to be given something. They should come up with something to do, just like we're all doing. They have the followers. Interesting. Nuts.
Well, yeah,
you agree?
I read it on the screen earlier. Nobody's arguing. I do not think that anybody here in the studio has argued that we want to be part of or we want to benefit from
any sort of package.
Not
Yeah,
at all.
yeah.
I'm looking at this from a bit of a different perspective, and to want to go to Miss Daniels and where she's coming from. Look, there are so many. I'm a creative mind, so at every point, I'm trying to squeeze out my creative juices.
Yeah.
As I sit here now, and I'm sure it is something that runs across us.
Yeah.
So Jerry here can decide to go back to banking.
True.
Kabute here can decide to go back to his business development or his.
He's also a fine actor.
Exactly my point. Or get back into his acting, which is entering a very peak period at this time because people are putting together stage plays, people are putting together little skits for their online platforms, and it's getting, the numbers are crazy, and brands are crazy about those kinds of numbers. If you're able to raise those kinds of numbers on social media, you understand me. So for me, it's looking within ourselves. I mean, I'm a Christian, and the Bible gives us ample evidence of the fact that every human being has more than one.
Let me interrupt you. You know what I thought you were going to say when you said I'm a Christian?
No.
I can also consider being a pastor.
I beg you.
The fact that we are all MCs means that consideration was passed on.
And honestly, that's what I thought was coming. I was like, oh my goodness, what's he going to say?
And you see, there's another thing. I mean, even before I started full-time emceeing, okay, I believe very much in networking because of the kind of family I've come from, the kind of training I've had, and the kind of indoctrination I've given myself.
Yeah.
So as I sit here, I'm not proud of saying it. I don't play golf yet. I've not initiated as a Freemason yet, but my networking, I'm not in Rotary as well. I'm not a Rotarian.
Yeah.
But I have friends, family, and associates who are all within these places.
Yeah.
And I can walk comfortably into any gathering that has any of these.
Yeah.
So emceeing, the work that we do, goes beyond, and this is what I tell all the people whom I have the opportunity to train and to mentor. I tell them that, look, for instance, within journalism, for instance, I tell people that, you see where you are as a place of opportunity. Because, for instance, you're a journalist, and then you keep calling Mr. Jerry Ajololo every day. Oh, Mr. Jerry, please, there's a fire here. We hear that your car is there. Okay. The next morning, I call you. Oh, good afternoon, Mr. Jerry. We hear that it's rained here, and your building is. I mean, it gets to a point when you'd be like, oh, this guy, come on, man.
Yeah.
And what about comparing it to, I call you and I say, hello, sir, how are you doing? How's the day been so far? And I realized the other day that you were wearing a very nice suit. Who makes it? You see, then you start developing a certain relationship.
Yep.
Then you start going out of the fixed box that you are in. And that opens you up to many different opportunities.
Exactly.
You see, as I sit here, I have my private company and I'm running, I mean, we're producing ads, we're producing documentaries for corporate bodies and all of that. This is what I'm talking about.
Exactly.
So that when one goes down, because look at the biggest companies in the world. Look at the biggest brands in the world. Name any of them and tell me if they are not diversified.
Exactly.
The biggest brands in the world have, sometimes you are even surprised. I mean, I was having a conversation with a friend of mine in Belgium recently, and she was telling me about how there's a holding company, I forgot, it just escaped me, but, they're holding a franchise that helps them to distribute big brands of fragrances in the whole of Europe. And you'd be surprised to know that, so this company is actually the one that does this one. This is the company that actually does this one. But if you decide to fix yourself into a certain box, then it becomes the problem.
Exactly.
Because I for instance, I'm a versatile brand, and I'm able to stand within, our moderator conference. The next minute you see me.
That's why I thought we were going to talk about the pastor.
No, but the pastor,
Why do you?
I'm not sure.
Refuses.
Uncle Ebo says I miss my calling. See, let me tell you. Uncle Ebo White, the legendary Uncle Ebo White, says I miss my calling. He says that he feels.
Not Committee's father.
He's our uncle as well. Yeah. He says that he feels that I should have become a model, and I'm saying, Uncle Ebo, you are way taller than I am. I'm, not so tall. I'm not. And he says, no. I mean, I think, and he keeps telling me. And sometimes I look at myself and I'm like, but Uncle Ebo, so the one way me I do this plenty thing with me, we always have a good laugh about it. But at the end of the day, it's thinking out the box.
It's thinking out of the box.
There are so many ideas. And then, quick one just before I wrap up. Just to add to what Kabute was saying about the organized body, I think it is important that we have one united front as much as possible.
Yes.
Exactly.
It's not ideal to have splinter groups.
Exactly.
So that MCs, so what I see as an ideal situation would be that we have one recognized body. We are all together. We have one leadership with the various splinter groups represented in an executive body. That is what I'm picturing as we sit here.
This one says, George, boss, I think you need to look at the verbal and written contract of your engagements. It should have a percentage of what you should hold back when there is a call on an event. Pre-planning is part of preparation. It comes with a cost, not only the event. Thanks, George. And that from Chris and Tama. He comes back to say that, George, tell my guys to look at all the refund perspectives. Don't do 100%. If you have to cancel an event, you need to consider your preparation costs before the event. Let's look at that clause. Thanks. Okay. And that's from Chris in Pram Pram. Pretty interesting. Pretty interesting one there. And this one says, this one says, please play me. Okay, you want me to play you a song? We'll do that. And we have a surprise for you, Kabuti. Since you refused to bring the food. Yes, the Showbiz team, the Showbiz A-Z team, knowing today is your birthday and we didn't allow you to spend it with your dear wife and all of us, Joyce in Nigeria, Kwesi, Nanaba,
yes. So because we're just about to go into a joyful mode, I think there's probably something that we should have done at the beginning of the show.
Tell us.
Especially today. Because unfortunately we actually lost a colleague of ours who was laid to rest today.
Oh dear.
Yes. So Kojo Yafe.
Oh yes.
Favorite MCs.
Yes, your favorite MCs.
Passed away about a month ago, and he was laid to rest today as well.
So rest in perfect peace.
If you may indulge us for a minute silence.
A brief moment of silence.
I know.
Let's do a moment. May his soul rest in perfect peace. So now we can go into the celebratory mode. Yes,
what's happening?
So we've been waiting since 3 o'clock. We said food is coming, not coming. So the Showbiz A-Z team decided to give you a little surprise. Please bring it in, and it is to celebrate you and say that, Charlie, we really do appreciate you. And it's good that the industry has people like you. Happy birthday!
Oh my God!
Yes, happy birthday. Nathaniel will lead the singing of the happy birthday. It's very versatile.
Wow. Charlie, so what? This one will be flat or if you want.
E major.
Wow.
Okay, so one I do 5 4 3 1. This is going to be a very fast-paced one because I realize there's a lot of testosterone in the studio.
That's right.
Right. So Jerry. Charlie, where's your guitar, man?
Charlie, like you tell me I can bring. Where's my kabu?
Hey,
Sometimes I've left it at home.
Charlie. All right. So 5 4 3 2 1.
Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Calvin. Happy birthday to you.
Oh my God.
Bless you now. May God bless you now. May God bless you now. May God bless you.
Oh my God. No, this is special.
One wait, and then you cut.
My wish for this year is that I'll be a dollar millionaire before I pass on.
Amen.
So, thank you all so very much. Yes, it's my birthday, but it's even more significant because it's my 40th birthday. And I'm really truly and grateful to God for the opportunity. It's been, many highs and lows, but it's a moment of truly being grateful for all the opportunities in life. I want to thank every single person out there who has been a part of my journey. I want to say a big thank you to my family, to my wife, to my 3 lovely kids. I want to say a big thank you to Uncle Ebo White, who has truly mentored me, to Brother Ishmael Tete, and to my own very mom of blessed memory, and my entire family. It's been a really, this morning, the whole day has really been filled with a lot of, just looking back and just being grateful for how far we have come. And so, all that said and done, on behalf of all the good people out there in the world, name is Kabuti, my MC.
So we're going to do a countdown from 4 to 0.
All right.
4 to 0.
All right.
Together, we're going to do the countdown. 4, 3, 2, 1. You know what? There is just a typical primary school friend. You become the best friend on your birthday. So my birthday will be big on that side of the thing. I'm taking the first one of the
Charlie, this is wonderful. Again.
Charlie, may life be good to you.